in this barbecue chicken, bro. You think he can be a second option on a championship team?
Man, just dropped 50.
I hear you guys, but that's with a lot of usage. Is he as good as J-Dub?
I think he can be if he got the minutes like J-Dub.
I think J-Dub's better than him.
You don't think he could be a second guy?
As a championship team, I don't think so.
How much is AR average as the number 2 option without LeBron?
So, in the 8 games that Austin Reaves has played without LeBron James this season, Gil, you're 28.6,
Like
8.4 assists, 6.8.
Like y'all fucking said.
I didn't even know, and I said,
damn. And remember when LeBron was out, he had 40.
The Los Angeles Lakers managed to escape with a narrow 110-101 victory over the New Orleans Pelicans, extending their winning streak to 3 games, but the final score quickly became the least interesting part of the night. The real story unfolding around the team isn't about wins and losses. It's about fit, hierarchy, and the growing tension surrounding how LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reaves share the floor. On paper the victory looked routine, yet the internet conversation after the game revolved around something far deeper than points or rebounds. Usage rates, ball dominance, and which player is forced to sacrifice when 3 high IQ creators try to operate in the same offense. Even before the game tipped off, head coach J.J. Redick hinted at the issue when he acknowledged that the toughest challenge occurs when all 3 playmakers are on the court together, because each thrives with the ball in his hands and someone inevitably has to give something up. That warning showed up almost immediately during the game itself when Reaves opened the first half ice cold, missing his first 6 shots and scoring only 2 points before halftime, a sequence that mirrored a broader pattern seen throughout the season. Statistical splits have started fueling the debate. When Reaves plays without LeBron on the floor, his production jumps dramatically, with scoring, assists, and overall offensive responsibility climbing to near star-level numbers. Those performances suggest that Reaves can function as a primary offensive engine when given the freedom to run the offense. But when LeBron returns to the lineup, Reaves' usage and touches decline noticeably. That shift isn't necessarily a criticism of LeBron. It's a natural consequence of how offenses reorganize around a ball-dominant superstar who controls tempo, spacing, and decision-making. Still, the contrast has sparked a growing argument among analysts and fans who believe the current lineup construction might be suppressing one of the team's most efficient young players. Some advanced metrics even suggest the Lakers' net rating improves when LeBron sits, a statistic that has raised eyebrows across the league. Those numbers don't erase LeBron's historic greatness, but they do highlight a complicated roster math problem. How do you maximize team performance when your legendary centerpiece and your rising secondary creator both need similar offensive space? The Pelicans game itself offered a snapshot of that tension. Reaves eventually finished with 15 points and 8 rebounds and delivered several clutch moments late in the fourth quarter, including a key go-ahead 3 that helped seal the win. Yet the slow first half reflected the difficulty of finding rhythm when the offense shifts between multiple ball handlers. With LeBron orchestrating, defensive attention naturally bends toward him, altering spacing and changing the sequence of who initiates plays. As a result, Reaves' overall season numbers remain solid, but his impact fluctuates depending on lineup combinations, especially during stretches where all 3 playmakers share the floor. The question then becomes not whether Reaves is talented enough to thrive, but whether the system consistently puts him in positions to do so. Money and long-term planning make the issue even more complicated. LeBron's massive salary, roughly $53 million, represents both the value of a global superstar and the financial gravity that shapes roster decisions. Meanwhile, Reaves, earning far less on his current deal, is approaching the type of production that could justify a massive future contract. For the Lakers front office, that creates a delicate balancing act. Do they continue building around the veteran legend in pursuit of another short-term title run, or do they start prioritizing the younger core built around Doncic and Reaves as the sustainable future of the franchise? Those decisions carry emotional weight because LeBron's legacy in Los Angeles is already secure, but basketball operations departments ultimately have to think in terms of timelines and efficiency as well as history. Through all of this, Reaves himself has remained diplomatic. When asked how playing alongside both superstars affects his role, he downplayed the issue and emphasized simply playing the right way and supporting his teammates. That patience has become one of his strengths, yet it also highlights the psychological challenge facing any young player in a crowded hierarchy. When early shots miss and opportunities shrink, it becomes easy to press too hard or hesitate at the wrong moment. The ideal solution would involve clearer structure, defined playmaking responsibilities, staggered rotations that allow Reaves stretches as the primary creator, and deliberate lineup management that prevents the offense from becoming congested. Without that clarity, the three-star experiment risks becoming inconsistent, producing flashes of brilliance mixed with frustrating stretches of stagnation. Ultimately, this situation reflects a broader identity question for the franchise. Reaves has quietly evolved into the type of versatile modern guard teams covet. Someone who can score efficiently, facilitate offense, and contribute defensively while fitting multiple systems. Doncic represents the generational centerpiece of the next era, while LeBron remains one of the most influential players in basketball history even in the later stage of his career. The Lakers therefore stand at a crossroads between sentiment and pragmatism, between squeezing every remaining drop from a legendary superstar and optimizing a lineup that might function more efficiently around its younger core. The answer isn't simple, because basketball success isn't determined purely by analytics or purely by legacy. It's shaped by chemistry, timing, and the willingness of stars to adjust their roles for the greater good. What's clear is that the team's current winning streak hasn't silenced the conversation. If anything, it has amplified it. As the season continues, the Lakers will have to decide whether their future revolves around maximizing the brilliance of their veteran icon or empowering the next generation of creators who may ultimately carry the franchise forward. When Austin Reaves sees his efficiency collapse early in a game, like those rough first halves where shots refuse to fall, the danger is psychological as much as statistical. A cold start can tempt a player to press, chase tougher shots, or hesitate instead of attacking naturally within the rhythm of the offense. The solution sounds simple but is incredibly difficult in practice. Remain the exact same player regardless of who shares the floor. Whether he's playing beside LeBron James, Luka Doncic, or leading a bench-heavy lineup, Reaves has to maintain the same aggression, decision-making, and confidence that allowed him to break out in the first place. Yet the responsibility cannot rest on him alone. The system surrounding him has to function correctly as well. If the coaching staff and front office continue experimenting with a three-headed star lineup without clearly defining roles or possession hierarchy, then the offense will keep drifting between brilliance and confusion. When LeBron, Doncic, and Reaves all step on the floor expecting to orchestrate the action, someone inevitably sacrifices touches, rhythm disappears, and the feast or famine stretches fans complain about start to appear again. That's why this situation is not merely about one player adjusting. It's an organizational challenge that requires structure and clarity. Stepping back reveals that this discussion is larger than box scores or a single game shooting percentage. It touches on identity and legacy for the Los Angeles Lakers as a franchise. Reaves has quietly developed into one of the league's most valuable modern guards, a high IQ wing capable of scoring efficiently, facilitating offense, and providing solid defense. He was demonstrating those qualities even before Doncic arrived and has produced impressive numbers during stretches when LeBron sits. That trajectory makes him extremely valuable in the modern NBA, where versatile two guards who can create and space the floor are prized assets. None of that diminishes LeBron's greatness. His legacy as one of basketball's most dominant players is secure, but greatness and roster fit are not always identical conversations. The Lakers are not deciding between sentimentality and pragmatism. They are weighing two timelines. One path maximizes a playoff push built around veteran star usage right now, while the other leans toward constructing a sustainable championship core centered on younger players like Doncic and Reaves. For the organization, that's a legacy question. For Reaves, it may be a career-defining moment that determines whether he remains a complementary piece or evolves into a central pillar of the team's future. From a tactical standpoint, there are practical steps the coaching staff, led by J.J. Redick, could implement almost immediately. The first is clarity. Establish exactly who runs the primary pick-and-roll in late-clock situations and ensure that everyone understands those responsibilities. Second, stagger minutes so Reaves receives extended stretches as the primary creator against second units where his playmaking and scoring can flourish without overlapping ball-dominant teammates. Third, manage LeBron's rotations strategically so his presence remains impactful without congesting the offense. That could involve carefully timed rest periods and re-entries that maintain offensive flow while still leveraging his elite playmaking and leadership. Off the court, the front office must also develop a financial roadmap. They could structure the roster to retain Reaves long-term with a lucrative contract while managing LeBron's role and minutes, or they might eventually pivot more decisively toward a younger core built around Doncic and Reaves while using LeBron's star power in a more limited but still valuable capacity. Neither option is easy, but avoiding a decision entirely may be the worst outcome. Ultimately, the debate now confronting fans and analysts is unavoidable. Who currently makes the Lakers better, LeBron or Reaves? Choosing LeBron means valuing experience, clutch pedigree, and the cultural gravity that a generational superstar brings to the court and locker room. Choosing Reaves prioritizes efficiency, lineup flexibility, and the long-term sustainability of the roster. Both perspectives carry trade-offs, which is why the argument continues to intensify. Modern championship teams tend to thrive on spacing, defined usage roles, and players whose presence consistently lifts the team's net rating. At this particular moment, some of the analytics suggest Reaves fits that description most cleanly within the Lakers' current configuration. But basketball is not purely an equation. It's also about chemistry, narrative, and the intangible influence of legends who have shaped the sport. That's why the situation feels less like routine team management and more like a crossroads in the franchise's story. The Lakers must decide whether to lean into the efficiency and upside of their younger pieces or continue riding the star power of one of the greatest players ever to touch a basketball. And as the debate grows louder, the basketball world is being forced to choose a side. Build around the rising star, or ride with the legend a little longer.